Dow is red. Stocks struggling a little there in the last 5-10 minutes. We're watching each tick, hoping we can hold on to a rally. One that's up quite a bit today is Intel, as the reports continue to swirl about what it's going to do with Foundry partnership possibilities. Kim Forrest joins us, founder and chief investment officer at Boca Capital Partners. Kim, I know you're on with my colleagues, but it's been a while since we've been together. It's good to see you.
Good to be here. When I saw it was you, I said, absolutely, I'm going to talk to Oliver today.
I love that. I appreciate that. I was telling my producers about how we used to hang out at the Greek restaurant across the Bloomberg office way back in the day. So we've known each other for a while. I know that you were bullish for a while for Intel, but we haven't spoken in a while. So update me on your thesis for the stock.
Sure. So I continue to hold it because it's drubbing at the end of last year. It just made me think, look, there's more value in this name than anybody is recognizing at this point. And maybe, just maybe, Pat Gelsinger saying, hey, we're going to be a foundry, made people look and say, look at all those foundry assets that they have. And he was not able to turn this company around in the time and the way he wanted. But I think it is a vestige of his past that now, of all places, TSMC is looking, going, hey, maybe we can make something out of this company by adding their expertise to the foundries. And I think that is the most exciting thing. And I've been waiting for somebody on the board or the next CEO to think out of the box to try to get some shareholder value back in this name.
And through the foundry element specifically, right? Like, wasn't your case for this that, like, no matter how bad it gets competitively on the cutting edge stuff, that they've got, like, huge assets that have use through the foundry?
Yes. Yes, because here's the thing. I don't think people, now I've never worked in semis, but I was a software engineer and I got to tour a couple semi places. The amount of infrastructure you need, even for like the lowest end semiconductor, is amazing. So just the fact that they have a lot of these plants already developed where you can, with some modification, slide in new machinery and use what you have there would allow a company like TSMC to be able to ramp up far more quickly than starting with dirt in the desert like they have in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is the really exciting thing about Intel at this point.
Well, you kind of hinted at it there with dirt in Arizona and Taiwan Semi's mission to build out more here in the U.S. So yes, this could give them a stronghold. What else does it say about the quality of Intel's foundry and production process?
Well, I think it's good enough for TSMC, right? Like, of course, they have been the leader in going down the nanosphere, right? The really small, really complicated semiconductor builds. Everybody goes to TSMC, even Intel. They're making some of their chips now. They're more exotic chips. So they have the know-how, which used to be Intel, but now it's transferred over to Taiwan Semi. And I really think this could add value for both Taiwan Semi. This is a win-win-win. Taiwan Semi wins, the customers win, and that would be NVIDIA, Broadcom, AMD. And then, Intel wins because they are realizing some shareholder value for their existing shareholders.
So is this, to put it bluntly, a moment where they couldn't beat them, so they're joining them? Is that kind of this?
I think it's more Taiwan Semi going, should we build or should we buy? And I think that's a really smart question for every single business. And any business needs to think of that. You just can't have the arrogance that, we're going to build everything from the ground up. It really is a question for every single business. And it should be, should I sell this? Is this now part of what I was or part of what I'm going to be? Intel has to answer that question as well.
Investors will have to answer the question, I think, if this deal happens, is this sort of putting a floor in the stock for Intel, a kind of one-time pop, or will the regular use of this really kind of attach Intel into more of some of the growth themes? What do you do if you have been taking a drubbing and let's say one of these deals gets done?
Sure. Well, you have to look at your own portfolio and go, can I put this cash to better use. And I think that's my job, right? As portfolio manager, chief investment officer. How do I make this pile of cash grow? It really doesn't matter what end company I buy. Is it growing? And I think that's what we all have to ask ourselves.
All right. What would you be happy with this year for Intel's price action, Kim? What do you think would suggest some real conviction turnaround?
Up 100%.
Okay,
I don't know
double.
if it'll happen, but I mean, that's conviction. No, its assets are extremely valuable. And the other thing is we're talking about American assets, but I think we have to be a global player, not just America, but we need these assets all around the world. It can't just be Taiwan and America. It could be Taiwan, America, Germany, Ireland, a whole bunch of places. And guess what? Intel has foundries in those locations. But I think it's good for good hygiene for supply chain to have it in more than one location.
Seems a logical argument. Will the administration see it that way, or will it be too hot button with China to avoid Taiwan semi, or is that maybe a bonus where they say, okay, let's show some support for Taiwan, let's be hawkish on China, invite TSM in?
I like that thinking. I try to keep politics out of it as much as I can.
Sure.
Because who cares how I vote, right? You just want me to make you money. But yeah, no, I think that would be good. That's a nice angle. But I really think companies should have come out of COVID saying, do I have a single source supplier? What does that do to my business? And how can I ameliorate that? And I don't see enough companies doing that, especially in semiconductor. It's the craziest thing on earth that the most valuable chips are made in one place in the world. Crazy.
I think it's also a little wild that it took Intel management this long to figure out how to integrate the foundry into what's happening. So I know you've beaten the table on that subject. So it seems like the management finally came around.
Yeah. I don't think they listen to me, but that's okay. Just as long as they get there.
Listen, thanks, Kim. Good to catch up.